I'm in Santa Monica at the home of actress Suzanne Somers. You've probably seen her in ABC's new TV series, Three's Company. If you saw the movie American Graffiti, you probably remember her as a mysterious blonde in The Thunderbird. Well, she had about 2 speaking lines then. She'll have more tonight. Suzanne Somers has also written several books. This is her first, Touch Me. Her latest book is about getting the most out of life, and that's scheduled to be released soon. Suzanne is also a great gourmet cook, and what she's cooking in there smells awfully good.
Well, I really wanted to be a weather girl in San Francisco. I never thought any farther than that. I really thought being a weather girl was the epitome of life. Couldn't get a job in San Francisco to save my soul. They always say you can't make it in your own town. I guess it's true. You know, I had to go away. I'm sure I could get a job as a weather girl now, don't you think?
What are you whipping up here, Suzanne?
Oh, this is fantastic. This is called a brie en croûte. What it is, a brie cheese, and it's wrapped in a pastry crust made with sour cream and, not sour cream, Philadelphia cream cheese.
Well, you really are the gourmet chef here tonight. Is that stereotypical?
The blonde not being able to cook, you mean? Usually they identify
image?
it. Yeah, it's usually identified with that, unfortunately. This happened a long time ago with Judy Holliday, who was wonderful, but the image of the blonde not being able to do anything but sit there and look pretty has come out of that. Take this dough out of here now. Sprinkle a little flour on the board. You were asking me if it bothers me. I don't want to get locked into being the dumb blonde, and I was afraid that could happen with Chrissy. But what we've done with her is make her likable, even lovable.
You played a blonde, though, that mysterious blonde in American Graffiti.
Do you know, I didn't even want to do that. Because still, that's like my claim to fame at this time, and I keep thinking it was such a silly little part that people always say, you were the one. In fact, I met a producer here when I first moved to Los Angeles who said, I'm really disappointed to meet you. And I thought, oh, terrific, being a secure person, right? He said, because I had this fantasy of this girl and this myth. He said, now I know who she is. It's no longer a fantasy, it's a reality. He said, I really never wanted to know who she was. And I think that was the whole mystique of that character. That she was never attainable. And you know, you always want what you can't get. And you couldn't get me, haha.
Do you think that working and becoming a star in Hollywood has changed you a lot?
It's changed me. I mean, in a sense that it's been a growing experience. Hasn't changed me personally. I'm just as lovable and likable as ever. Okay, this is ready to put in the oven now.
While we're waiting, do you think I could look at some of your books and your poems?
Okay, we'll do that.
Suzanne, when you wrote this book, what exactly and how exactly were you in your life? I noticed a lot of feeling in this book when I glanced through it.
I think it was, you know, the early 20s, all that growing that happens to us. I mean, you change from year to year, as you do, and I still am. I know I'm a different person this year than I was last year and from what I'll be next year. It was a time of a lot of inner conflict and a lot of pain, but seeing the light. It was always positive, and I think I've always been a very positive person.
Suzanne, I'll be honest. I was very surprised to learn that you had written several books.
I have many interests, and it is, we want to place people in molds. Blondes do a certain thing. Asian people look a certain way and act a certain way. You know, I'm sure you've been placed in molds yourself.
How do you counteract the stereotypical image that a lot of people have about blondes?
Don Rickles made some reference to the fact that I had a large bosom. Frankly, I don't have a large bosom, but he just imagined, being that I was blonde and sexy, that I had a large bosom. And I just called him. I said, well, why would you bring up the size of any part of my body? I said, what if I brought up the size of some part of your body, you know? And that kind of stopped him.
That's 1 for Suzanne Somers, 0 for Don Rickles.
Everything that I have set out to do, that I say I'm going to, not I want to or I'd like to, I'm going to, has happened.
What about the weather girl in San Francisco?
See, I never really believed in San Francisco that I was good enough. That's why I never got it.
Is Hollywood as tough as we hear it is?
Yeah, it is. It is. You really have to be of strong mind here. I think that's why tragedies like Freddie Prinze happen, you know. It's tremendous pressure when you're doing a series, because the success of so many people lies on you. You know, you can't have a bad day, you can't be sick. I find the pressure tremendous but challenging, and I love being this busy. I just love it.
I would love for you to read a couple of your favorite poems from here.
Okay, I would like to too. Sometimes I see my son and remember when I thought I'd failed, because so many told me a mother who bore a boy should not send away his father. Sometimes I see my son and remember the pain of unloved pregnancy and the resentment I sometimes felt at raising him alone when I could not have the freedom I deserved. There were days I was as much a child as he, when I wanted someone to give me the love I gave so grudgingly to him. Days that we learned together about life and had as many questions. Sometimes I see my son and wish his mother had it all together, to give him strength and courage I only sometimes have, to listen when my own hurts need hearing, to hold him even though I am alone. But sometimes I see my son with a trust in his eyes that no one else could give, with a smiling, shining little face that says there was no failure, no monstrous mistakes, only good things and memories of love and caring. Sometimes I see my son and he touches me in secret corners, and I know that everything is fine and always will be. Because sometimes I see my son and I love him.